Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. I think you can hear me now. Sorry. So yeah, technical difficulties. So let's try this. Let's try this again. Since now I think you can hear me. There we go. So let's try this again. Again, technical difficulties. That's why we started late. So once again, guys, welcome to my safe Gavin. You are joining me for another live stream of WandaVision. So whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on the replay, thank you guys for being here. Yeah, I see it in the audio. Thank you. Hey, Jacob, how's it going? Thank you guys for being here. I was wondering because I have myself in the headphones and I'm like, I don't hear me in the headphones. Is the audio? But we're good now. This is what happens when you go live. But anyway, so just like I have been doing the last couple of lives, I do have another guest with me. It's not just going to be me talking here by myself. This will be another guy that I had on last week. And he's actually the inspiration for the hashtag that I have on the title of this episode, hashtag Wanda gotta go to jail. So I'm gonna just have him come on and then he can introduce himself. So everybody welcome Ron at him. Hey, how's it going? Now I can't hear you. I can't hear you. So it's all technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on today. Okay, now I can hear you. I just heard you say
Cool. You hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Get everybody.
But yeah, it's craziness. But yeah, well, introduce yourself for the people that haven't maybe didn't join the live chat last week.
But I'm Ron. I run a social media website. You can read comics. I review comics every day. It means about comics.
And yeah, I have his link to his website. You Don't Read Comics in the description below, so definitely check him out. Because it's a lot of books that come out every week, and I don't even keep up with half of the. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's jump right into WandaVision. If you guys, it's not expected, but it's always appreciated if you guys got a comment that you want to, just in case we're not paying attention to the chat, that you really want to get to our attention, a comment, a theory, or whatever, just leave a super chat. I greatly, again, it's not expected, but it's always appreciated. And I make sure to get to every single super chat that I see. Also, thank you for the 10 people that are here in the chat. If you could do me a favor and please hit that like button, I'll greatly appreciate it. And also for those that may watch in the replay, if you're coming in on the replay, please make sure you hit that like button. Thank you so much. Now, Ron, let us get into episode 5.
It was like, you thought episode 4 was like coming at you with like rapid fire stuff. Episode 5 was like ridiculous. Like all the questions that we asked in the last live is like a lot of them got answered or brought up more questions. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, like this episode, like I posted a meme online. There's like a cat, and it's like, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck is that? That's basically how I felt.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's how I felt watching this episode. And all in a good way, all in a great way, actually. Like this episode was just like, yeah, like you said, you thought last week's episode was balls to the walls. This week's episode, they said, nah, you thought our balls were big last week. They grow.
And they jump right into it. Like as soon as the episode started, they jump right into it. So that was dope.
Yeah, they jump right into okay. Yeah, I guess this episode is the audio episode. Yeah, they were saying your audio was messed up, but now it's much better.
Cool.
But yeah, so hopefully, I think this is wood. Knock on wood. No more issues, guys.
Hopefully.
But yeah, so jumping into the beginning of this episode, I'm like, I literally just watched the episode. I'm like, how does episode start?
Oh, they were just in the house chilling, and then the kids.
Oh yeah,
the kids were crying.
the kids were crying. Okay, now I
Yeah.
remember. Wanda and Vision were taking care of the kids, and every time I hear the name Billy and Tommy, I just get a smile on my face.
Did you know? I'm getting into it already, but did you notice the fact that her powers did not work on the kids?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that the only time. So the only time we've seen that happen is when she tried to use her powers on the stork, and when she tried to use her powers on the kids. And I'm like, something's up with that.
Because she controls that world.
Yeah, and not only that, like she said, she was even confused herself because she was like, why can't I make you do what I want?
Exactly. And then so, Ding Dong, who pops up.
Yeah, so I definitely think there's something there. But then Catherine Hahn, I keep wanting to call her by her actress name, but Agnes. She shows up and she knows exactly what's happening. Like, oh, the babies are crying, and of course, Vision, who's having problems with the way this world has been crafted, he's like, how did you know what was happening?
Exactly, and I think that's interesting that Vision is having problems with stuff because that shows that Vision is a person. You know, he's not just Wanda's like doll or whatever. Even if she can control him or make it what you do, he has his own free will and he questions things.
Yeah, and then so after she tries to kind of play it off and it's like, oh, I can hear them from my apartment or whatever, and then she starts to sorry, I'm like, I realized I didn't tweet that I was live right now on Twitter, so I'm like trying to talk and tweet. But yeah, so then she tries to talk and like, oh, she's gonna take care of the babies, but then Vision catches her off guard. Like, did you wash your hands? Like, are you qualified to take care of babies?
Exactly, like a normal parent would do.
Yeah, like a normal parent would do. But I guess maybe she wasn't expecting that, and so almost. And this kind of made me laugh as a person that has the degree in theater. When sometimes like a person, and it's like improv, you got to like fly with it. So sometimes your scene partner will give you something completely different that's not in the script, and you're like, wait, what's happening? You got to go with it. But she reminded me of like an actor that is not used to that type, because there's not all actors are good with improv. That's why I like when stuff breaks when it's live. You gotta go with it. It's improv.
Yeah, it's pretty much like she.
Yeah, I love that theater trainer. So she was just like caught off guard, and she was like, "Wait, what?" And like she looks, she looks to Wanda. Is like, "Do you still want me to?" It's almost like they had it planned. But even Wanda's looking like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, and I don't think she was lying. Because she's looking at her, then she looked at Vision, and she's like, "What do you?"
Do you think there is a script for the show within the show? Like, is a script for Wanda's?
I think there's a script, but I don't necessarily know if Wanda wrote the script or she's even fully aware of the script. But Maz K, Avid Star, I hope I said that right. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Did this episode feel like it low-key put more effort into say Agnes is Agatha and she knows more than Wanda, or is it just me?
Oh, they went hard at her. Yeah,
no, they definitely
Vision.
did. Yeah. And Mark Harris, thank you for the $4.99 super stick. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I definitely feel like they leaned more into Agnes knowing way more in this episode specific, but I mean they kind of did that in episode 3, I believe.
But now it's like in your face, and as to what you said the last time we were on about Ralph, we never see Ralph, and she keeps talking about this motherfucker. Like, where's Ralph and who is Ralph? You know?
Yeah, like that's why I feel like at some point, like I think he's Mephisto, like because especially when you jump into the reference that she made in episode 1. When she talked about their anniversary, which is the day of the Salem witch trial, and we know that she's at the Agatha Harkness, the witch, and she does have a connection to Mephisto. So I'm like, it's way too much of a coincidence. And so once she talks about taking it from the top, almost like she lost her lines. Yeah. Of course, Vision. There's no way Vision can't notice that, and so he pulls Wanda aside, and he's like, the fuck? Like, what was that? And Wanda's trying to play it off like, oh, nothing's wrong. And he's like, nah, like I've been riding with you for these last 4 episodes, Wanda, but there's no way. Like this one,
what do you think caused the break? I'm
not believing,
because all the stuff that's going on. Like, what do you think caused the break? Like that from the top is like that, or you think it's like a build up of things that he's been seeing?
I think it's a buildup of things because I mean, from episode 1, he's been suspicious of everything that's happening. Because like you saw when he was at his job, he was wondering like, what do we actually do here? Like, what's the purpose of this place? Or questioning, like, because remember when they asked like, how did they meet? What made them come to Westview? And he didn't have the answers to that. And then the guy choked. Like, I think it's just a buildup of everything from the last couple of episodes.
You know what it is? I don't mean to jump around, but like it seems like I think in the first episode, like we didn't know what was going on, so we kind of thought I thought Vision might have been in on it, like he knew the deal, like they were somewhere and they couldn't leave it, and like. But at the end of this episode, I'm sorry to jump around, but he seemed to not know anything from before they were there. So,
I mean, well, I mean, I don't know, because he says like he doesn't remember his life before, but I think that goes even from the first episode because remember when they were questioning like, why'd you come to Westview? How did you get married? Like, there's a lot that he doesn't know, and part of that is because if you think about his death, like his brain is smashed. Exactly. Like he's still dead.
Yeah, but watching the first episode without seeing this one is like I kind of thought he was in it on it. He was like waiting for her to tell him so they could make up a lie together, but he really didn't know what was going on at all.
No, I had a feeling like they didn't like, and I can't see. And this is the thing about this episode because I partly felt like neither one of them knew like. Now that we know everything that we know, well, there's still a lot that we don't know because we know that Wanda is controlling this, but from the first couple of episodes, we didn't know whether Wanda was controlling this world or not. So when they were trying to come up with the story or remember who their lives were or whatever, I felt like Wanda didn't know either. But based on this episode, no, Wanda knows everything.
Yeah, definitely.
So this shit was like, and then I find it. So now you got me jumping around, but then I find it very interesting because you saw after Agnes came and she was trying to deal with the twins, and Vision confronted her and was like asking her about the weirdness. Going into more weirdness, we hear the twins finally stop crying. And you thought that Agnes probably did something because she was talking about giving them liquor. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, she definitely probably had black parents because black people, they be giving their Henny. Yeah, giving her a little bit of Henny to, quiet them down if they won't stop crying. Yeah. And so the kids stopped crying. We thought they fell asleep, but then look behind them. And they're like 7 years old. You think
Agatha had a part in that though?
So that's what I was gonna say. Every time that they age, Agatha's there. Exactly. So I definitely feel like there's a reason.
And the fact that they do that,
she wants the kids for some reason or something. I don't know.
Definitely. And the fact that they do that in front of Agatha and Vision's like, yo, the kids just drew in front of her. We got to do something. We got to wipe her mind or something. She can't see this, We're supposed to be hiding this stuff, right? And Wanda's like, nah, it's good. She's good. She's cool.
Yeah,
because Wanda knows like she's in on the whole thing,
Yeah, so there's that, and because also jumping with that too, like I also feel like because you get Sparky the dog from the Vision comic, which is they made it, but this is a real dog, a real dog. I definitely feel like Agnes has something to do with the death of that dog.
Oh, she killed that dog. Most definitely. I for some reason, she really wanted Wanda to use her powers or something like that. Really wanted to get some kind of energy from her, like bring the dog back. And I think she kind of coaxed the kids into that too.
Yeah, because remember when the kids were like, you could bring anything back, bring the dog. And she was like, you can do that. And you kind of saw tears in her eyes. I'm thinking maybe she lost someone. And she's trying to use Wanda's powers
to bring them back.
Oh,
so maybe there's no Mephisto. Maybe Agatha is doing this whole.
But I don't know. I feel like there has to be a Mephisto, considering everything that's happening.
I don't know. I think this is just Dormammu, man. Mephisto, I fuse him into one or whatever, but I think that's going to be more multiverse of madness. I don't know. The whole deal could have been with Agatha. We don't know anything, like we never do.
Because I mean, they could be changing Agatha Harkness's her origins, because she's not a villain in the comics, but definitely. I guess maybe they could be making her a villain. Maybe that's the twist.
Is Wanda a villain though?
Well, no, she's definitely. Oh no, she's definitely a low level villain. I don't think she's the main. Like, I don't think she's the main puppet strings puppeteer, but she's a villain to an extent because once they get out of the episode, once they get out of the sitcom, once the kids get old or they become 7 years old, we jump into the real world and we see Monica Rambeau getting like a CAT scan and things like that. And we hear an interview asking like what happened, since she's the sole survivor or whatever of this world. And she was basically saying like she felt Wanda in her voice, she felt Wanda in her head, and it felt everything that Wanda was doing to her felt very painful, and she felt very stressed. And so based on that, and then also jump into when Vision brought his coworker out of that mind control, like it was painful. And then also she's taking these people away from their lives. Like he was talking about his sister and stuff like that. So your audio disappeared again. Or you sound real low, rather. Like I hear you, but it's super low.
The way Westview has been working is like
it's still like it's like staticky. It's almost like it's a short in the thing. Like you sound like okay, yeah, they like I just heard you.
My bad. Good now?
Yeah, it's good now.
Yeah, the way Westview has been working, it's like his sister probably doesn't remember him anyway.
Yeah, probably, but he remembers his sister.
Yeah, and that hurts him. And the fact that she's in their minds, and like he said, like it's like he's actively being tortured, and even Monica said that, like she's definitely, and she doesn't care. She didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, she doesn't care. I'm gonna get to it, Mark. Like, yeah, you read my mind. But going with that, like, I also feel like while Monica was being interviewed, she definitely has her powers at this point.
Yeah, because
while she was getting CAT scanned, like they were saying, "Oh, it's blank," and I was like, "No, that doesn't look blank." Again, again, Mark, she's pure exactly. Energy.
Exactly.
And her blood work was messed up. So I was like, "Oh, she has her powers." Right. But I'm like, so wait, did she get them as a result of Wanda, or did she already have them?
I had to be a result of Wanda and the field, because they said that radiation we talking about, it could have been a Fantastic Four. I think they're going to use that to make it's going to be a combination of both, like her going through the portals back and forth, and the radiation or whatever.
Yeah, Photon. I don't think they're going to call her Photon. I think they're going to call her. Yeah, because her current name in the comics is Spectrum. Yeah, so I think
her mom's name is Photon.
Yeah, her mom's name is Photon, but she could probably take it as an homage, because that was Monica's name at one point in the comic. But I feel like that was their way of homaging that. But I think she's going to call herself Spectrum.
Yeah. It was really a key moment for me, a key fanboy moment, when they were talking about when they were with Monica and they were talking about Thanos. Yeah. And how powerful Wanda actually is.
And they also put some respect on Captain Marvel too, because exactly. I feel like a lot of people forget, and sometimes Kevin Feige does too, because I remember when they first introduced or said they were going to do Carol Danvers, she said Kevin Feige was like, "Oh, Carol Danvers, she's going to be the most powerful Avenger that we've ever seen. Like, she's the strongest Avenger. Period. She's more powerful than all of them." But then all of a sudden we get to Endgame, it's like, no, Wanda's more powerful. I'm like, but you just said Captain Marvel was more powerful. Yeah. So which one is it? So I'm glad they kind of addressed that in this episode. It was like, well, Carol Danvers, like Captain Marvel could have beat him too, which is true. Because he needed the Infinity Gauntlet just to knock him off, just to knock her off him.
Yeah, he had to take a stone out, sucker punch her.
the Power Stone.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they put a little bit of respect on Carol's name. But also with that whole conversation, I was like, how do they know this stuff? Because
somebody was recording it.
Like who in the middle of the battle against Thanos, and they like, I gotta get this for the gram. I gotta get this for the gram.
It was Peter.
It might have been, because they knew details, like they were fans watching it. They were like, oh yeah, Wanda almost beat him until Thanos had to call down the Armada. But what about Captain I'm like, how did they know this shit?
Peter uploaded the whole thing on the YouTube.
I mean, he probably did, because when he first became Spider-Man, he was posting shit. You're the Spider-Man from YouTube.
Exactly, because that's what makes sense today. It doesn't make sense for him to be at a newspaper.
So, but yeah, so then also with that, like during the conversation, you saw that when they brought up Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, you saw Monica's face,
She's
as
uncomfortable.
if it looked uncomfortable. So I'm like, it's a little trouble. It's a little trouble in between the relationship between Monica and Carol. So I'm wondering what's up with that. Do you have any theory? Yeah, I was about to say, you have any theories?
Deadbeat mom. Carol's like pretty much, like her mom, because we said before that they were like a couple, her mom and Carol, and Carol went back off into space. Who knows how long she left her? Maybe she felt abandoned by Carol, because he knows Carol is out there still doing stuff. But
yeah, probably. But I always thought she kind of, like, when you think about when Monica first showed up in last week's episode, where she almost seemed like she had an affection for Carol, where she was like, "Well, we have allies in space."
Yeah. I mean, there's affection there, but like you can still be mad at somebody and still love them,
But maybe she's not talking about Carol when she mentioned allies, because there's a drop that I'm like, this is going to play very important later on, that she mentioned when she's trying to figure out how to get back into Westview. And she's talking about, I'm going to need this. And I don't know the science jargon or whatever. But then she says, I know an astrophysicist or whatever, aerial physicist, whatever, some type of scientist that would love to take a crack at this. Who the fuck is that? Because Marvel does not throw things out there that is not going to get dropped. So I'm thinking it could be one of two people.
Cho?
Oh, see, I didn't even think that.
Because the Cho was hinted in Age of Ultron, and by now Cho is of age.
Because his mother was there. She was the one. For those of you that don't know, Amadeus Cho is not the Incredible Hulk. Why the fuck can't I think of his name?
This is Braun now. He's Braun now. He's
totally awesome Hulk. He was totally awesome Hulk.
He was, but he's not anymore.
So his mother was introduced in Age of Ultron, but I didn't. Yeah, I forgot about Cho. So it could be Cho. But I was thinking,
and you have Cho and you have Jimmy Woo. You can have the Agents of Atlas.
Want to know? Yeah, I was gonna say Jimmy Woo's already there. But yeah, Amadeus Cho was a good one. But what I was thinking is one of two people. So either, because it's Monica Rambeau. Who else is Monica Rambeau connected to in the comics, and who's also an aerophysicist or whatever? Blue Marvel. Adam Brashear.
They can't do that. I would love it, but it wouldn't make sense in the context that Blue Marvel was, how old he is. He was around during the civil rights.
Yeah, but they could make him younger.
If he's been around, then why wasn't he?
Well, he might not be Blue Marvel though. He might just be Adam Brashear.
Maybe.
And then the second person is Reed Richards. They already announced Fantastic Four. They talked about astronauts and perhaps being missing or whatever. So maybe he's not Mr. Fantastic. Maybe he's just Reed Richards.
But if he was just Reed Richards, he'd have to be mentioned before that anyway, because he's definitely smarter than Iron Man. He's inventing and doing more than Iron Man at all times, unless they go with a really young Reed Richards, like the Ultimate Fantastic.
Yeah, they may go Ultimates, because maybe if he's Monica's, if Monica knows him, maybe they're around the same age, so they may go the Ultimates route, or maybe he is older, but I don't know, like, because remember Hank Pym is almost just as smart as Iron Man, but they didn't mention him until the Ant-Man movie.
True.
So it could be the same thing.
True.
And we also know they're going to introduce Dr. Doom at some point, because again, they announced Fantastic Four. So he's one of the smartest people in the entire Marvel universe, and they haven't mentioned him yet. So, and they did announce Fantastic Four, so it could be Reed Richards. And also with that, like, both Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen mentioned that by the end of this series, by the season finale, there's going to be a person showing up that is akin to Luke Skywalker showing up at the end of The Mandalorian.
And you don't think that was today's episode?
No, because she said by the end of the show. We're not at the end. We're not at the end yet.
True that.
And then also, I kind of feel like this was granted. I'm not gonna talk about it yet, but I'm like, it was expected. Because we
expected it. There were so many rumors.
We knew 8 months ago that he was going to be on set, and so who else could he be but for?
Yeah. I wish it wasn't spoiled.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't spoiled either. But I'm like, so I don't necessarily think, because I'm like, I don't get Luke Skywalker from that. So I'm like, the only way I would get Luke Skywalker is if it was Reed Richards, but played by John Krasinski, or I guess we could jump to that since we're already talking about it.
Yeah.
since Pietro or since Evan Peters has showed up to play Pietro, because
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple theories about that. I don't necessarily think he's the Pietro from the X-Men universe.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think it's Marvel just winking at the audience. I think it's Evan Peters playing Pietro, but he's actually like a person that lives in the town that Wanda got infected his mind.
Because of what Kat Denning said, right?
Because of what Kat Denning said. And then also remember, we haven't seen the Beekeeper. So maybe he was actually the beekeeper that was trying to sneak into the town.
And she recasted him.
Yeah, then she reversed time, and we haven't seen him. So where is he? Maybe it's him.
And maybe she just brought him up there because her sons kept asking. Like,
yeah, because her sons kept asking, and you saw her like mind, like, oh, he's far away. He's far away. So I think at that moment he was cast. But so going into that, I think my other theory about who could possibly be showing up, I think this is probably a red herring that by the end of the show, because also the reference of bringing somebody back from the dead, by the end of the show, she's going to actually resurrect Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver.
Oh, that could be cool.
And he's that cameo that she was referring to.
That would be dope.
Because I'm just trying to think, like, if they reference Luke Skywalker, because what made Luke Skywalker so mind-blowing in The Mandalorian? We already knew who this character was. It was a character, so it was a character we already had familiarity with, and it was a character we never expected to show up in that show. So I'm like, well, it can't, because a lot of people were saying Doctor Strange, and I'm like, no, we kind of expect Doctor Strange.
You do.
Yeah, we expect Doctor Strange to show up. Evan Peters, like, we expect if he's showing up, him being Pietro, it's like we kind of expect that. So I'm like, John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic, or maybe Aaron Taylor Johnson actually shows up. I could be completely wrong with either of this shit, and it could be like, I don't know, it could be like fucking Maria Hill.
I don't know, Maria Hill, but I don't know. You think they're gonna use this? A lot of people are thinking like Twitter is like heavy with X-Men tweets right now. You think they're trying to use this to bring in mutants? Or no?
Oh yeah, it could be that too. Because I saw a lot of people saying, "What if Magneto shows up?" But I'm like,
that's what.
But I'm like,
Magneto would be a Luke Skywalker type deal because everybody loves Fassbender.
I guess, I was gonna say if it's Fassbender, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because I don't know if they're gonna keep leaning into the whole, like they're gonna bring all the X-Men. I feel like Marvel wants to. I mean, obviously they did it with Quicksilver, but I kind of feel like they want to distance themselves from it, because like those X-Men movies were like a law of diminishing returns. Every single one just got worse and worse reception.
Yeah, the first two were good.
Yeah. Well, you mean the original first two?
Oh, both. Like the first two of both iterations of X-Men.
Because I was like, First Class, I'm still salty about Darwin. So
that's a great. I was salty too. I'm still salty, but it's a great movie.
It is, but still fuck that movie. Because the one character in all the comics whose power is they can't die, and you kill him.
Yeah.
The fuck.
After he showed his powers, like he can't die, and he's like, "Oh no!" And
he dies.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Racism.
It was the '60s. It was the '70s in First Class.
But the movie was made. It wasn't the '60s.
Yeah, true.
It was made today.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think? But who else do you have? Do you think that the person might be?
Magneto would be dope. It's funny because when they actually showed Pietro from the back of his head, like all the gray hair, I was thinking it could be Cap, like right then and there. And I was like,
oh no, I didn't think it was Cap.
It could have been. I thought, and then they
soon as I saw the silver hair, I was like, "Oh shit, that's Quicksilver." But I didn't know which. I didn't know it was going to be Evan P. I didn't know which Quicksilver, because the moment the kids asked, "Do you have a brother?" and she was like, "I do, but he's far away," and it makes me sad sometimes. Even though I was like, "What do you mean sometimes? You should be sad all the time. This is your twin.
Yeah.
Like you should be trying to bring him back more than you should be trying to bring back Vision."
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. I think it was dope that they showed that scene with her actually going to get Vision's body.
I'll bring that. But the moment they mentioned, she mentions that, and then you heard the knocking at the door. I thought he was going to show up then and there.
Yeah,
but it wasn't. But I feel like that's when he was cast. But yeah, jumping forward, like when Monica was getting interviewed about what happened, and the leader of S.W.O.R.D. or whatever was talking about infiltrating the building, and they called Monica a terrorist, and he was
terrorist.
Jimmy Woo was trying to come to her defense, and it's like, no, she's a member of the event. Like, you're oversimplifying it. And then he started bringing up Civil War and all other stuff, and then they finally showed that no, she went in and stole Vision's body, which was A, against Vision's wishes, and B, against this Sokovia Accords. And he said he's always had access to this footage, but I'm like, you've always had access to this footage. Why are you showing it now?
You should have showed it as soon as they discovered the TV show.
Yeah, you should have showed it as soon as they discovered the TV show. So I definitely think,
but he had his own ulterior motives, because when they went to go see her, he was trying to get the kill. He was trying
to kill her. So so I was gonna get to that. I definitely think there's more to him, because he's way too trigger happy. I think he's
white though. I mean, white.
It's true, but I don't even have nothing to say against that now, because I'm like, it's true, but I still think there's more to it, because especially the ref, like, I don't know, especially him climbing to the ladder of like the highest echelons of.
So you think he's somebody that will want Wanda dead, but like, who knew this was going to happen?
I think maybe he's associated with Hydra or AIM.
AIM, that could be it. That could be it. Yeah. Too, yeah.
So I think, he's white, but I think he's I think he's a villain more like, I don't necessarily think he's like somebody we know from the comics, but I think there's more to it.
Speaking of white, everybody keep making excuses for Wanda white ass.
No, she definitely went full.
Yeah. She's done.
Granted, I love Wanda, but like, jumping forward real quick, the moment, and this is why, and funny enough, this is exactly why I named this review episode Wanda gotta go to jail. The moment she came out of that portal in her fucking Avengers Endgame outfit, telling the audience, because we had questions, telling the audience that she knows everything that's fucking happening. She knows that she's taking these people from their lives and from their families, and she don't give a fuck.
Exactly. It don't affect me. It don't affect me,
because she's getting everything she wants. She's getting her kids and she's getting her man. The moment they showed that, I was like, oh no, because I wasn't with you at first when you said it last week. I was like, nah, like, Wanda, she's grieving. Like, you got to be with her. Like, I understand. Maybe she doesn't know what's happening. But the moment this happened, I was like, man, fuck Ron. And I was like, Wanda got to go to jail. Like, I'm done. After that moment, I'm done. Like, granted, I still love her. And Elizabeth Olsen, she is fucking killing this role. Like,
oh my god, the chemistry between her and Paul Bettany this episode was on point. It was crazy good.
So on point.
Yeah, crazy good.
But let me address this. Maz K, Avistar, thank you again for the $5 super chat. When Wanda came out, it was terrifying but so satisfying. I love how Monica still tried to defend her and was understanding. And I think that's not even just Monica, but I think that's the audience too, because even I saw people, like when I posted the Wanda got to go to jail thing, I had a couple people send me messages like, but she's grieving. You got to understand it. We know, like, she's not a villain and other stuff. But I'm like, but not like she's literally taking people from their homes. Exactly. And then not even just that, but Monica said that her mind control is hurting them because it hurt her. So it's like, no, like, I understand. Like, she's an Avenger. We know deep down she's a hero.
Yeah, but you can't get a pass on that.
It's like Michael Jackson. You're doing wrong. You're doing wrong. Gonna lock you up before too long. Like, it's no. Like, I hope that don't get copyright.
Oh God.
But I didn't sing it right because I'm not Michael Jackson. But for y'all that know that reference, y'all know, like. Wanda got to go to jail.
Go to jail. Like, there has to be some, even at the end of this, and everybody like accepts what she did. Like, at least she's going to be locked up in the mental institution. Like, you know what I mean? She's hurting people. She is. Well, hold on, keep talking real quick because my throat is like, because I'm like real excited, and now I'm like starting to cough. Let me get some water real quick. Like, a lot of this reminds me of like Avengers Disassembled and definitely House of M. Like, Wanda has these breaks in the comics where she just messes stuff up. Like she just fucks everybody's life up. And it's like the Avengers usually try to forgive her, and until it gets to the point where somebody steps in and she has to be punished. It's like I think the first time it happened, it was Doctor Strange that set her straight with the Aya Agamotto.
That Michael Jackson and fucked up my throat.
Oh, you can't hit them notes, yo. Don't be doing that. That's like when you go karaoke and somebody try to sing the Whitney Houston song.
Oh nah, that's when you start talking to your friends, because you already know. As soon as you hear them Whitney Houston chords, you like, you know this about to be, you know it's about to be a mess. But yeah, even Aubrey, she agrees. Wanda got to go to jail.
Yeah.
But yeah, like people are defending her, and I think also Monica too, because part of that is like, yeah, she did
save the world.
Yeah, she did participate in saving the world,
mm-hmm.
and almost in a way, kind of like the Vision comic, where she feels somewhat entitled because she helped saving the world, kind of like Vision when he kind of went to that principle. It was like, I saved the world like 32 something times, so you can't tell me nothing at least for these 37 times or whatever. So fuck you, I'm gonna do what I want. Your life, you owe your life to me. Without me, this world would have been destroyed. So I'm gonna do what I want. Exactly. And that's basically Wanda's the mentality that she has. She went full cosmic Karen in this episode.
She's a cop at Starbucks getting free coffee.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I protect this neighborhood. You know what I mean? That's what she's doing.
And I do kind of feel like the real Arredondo said, she's just as confused, because jumping to the end of the episode, we're jumping around a lot, but it doesn't matter. It's a live stream, so whatever. As long as we get to everything.
Yeah.
But when her and Vision are having that argument, then that shit got dark.
For real. That was like the best part of the episode.
That was the best part of it. Like so dark that I started to feel uncomfortable.
They were arguing like a real ass couple, like
a real couple. Like I felt uncomfortable. Like you know how sometimes, well, granted, this never happened to me, but I know the situation. Like you hanging out with two of your friends that are a couple,
mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden they start arguing. You the third person. You like, should I go?
She has so.
That's how I felt in that moment. She
has so much power over the world. Like he started just arguing with her, and she rolled credits.
That was so funny. That was so funny. And then not only just that, but he was like, you can't manipulate me like you do everybody else. And she was like, she's like, fucking Elizabeth Olsen. I don't know what awards they give superheroes, but she needs all the fucking awards. Like when she was like, really? I can't?
Yeah.
And you saw Vision's face like, what? Bitch, you better not.
She's done it before.
She has. She's done it more than once.
Yeah. But the only people she hasn't been able to manipulate are the children, which still brings me back to that. Like, why isn't she able to manipulate them?
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that she imbued them in order to create them. She had to imbue them with some of her power.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Or they're fragments of Mephisto's souls, and Mephisto is way more powerful than her.
Mm-hmm.
Because even she was confused. Like, why can't I make you do what I want?
Mm-hmm.
But when they started, and then she's like, "Nah, I'm not dealing with this. I'm going to bed." And the credits started rolling.
Yeah, I was like,
I started laughing at first, but then I was like, "Nah, this episode can't end here. This cannot end here." And then Vision kept going after her. Yeah, then Vision kept going. I was like, again, I started to feel like, even though I knew it was a show, I felt like, oh shit, I shouldn't be watching this.
And then like I back to what I said before, like during the argument, he said he doesn't remember any of his life before Westview. Like, so even if she brought him back to life, he doesn't remember being an Avenger or anything like that. He just remembers Wanda, like he's with Wanda. That's his wife. That's all he knows.
Yeah, and
he
I
has
also
the Vision, like personality or whatever, or like whatever makes up the Vision, but he doesn't have any of those experiences.
Yeah, and also based on the end of this episode, and I think so. Two things based on the end of this episode, I definitely feel like Wanda and Vision are gonna come to blows towards the end, and then also I think part of the
Vision is still a hero.
Yeah, Vision he's still a hero. Like if he knew what was happening. Granted, I don't want to compare it to this because this is way better.
Mm-hmm.
But this would be like Wonder Woman 1984, where he's the Steve Trevor. Like, Diana, like, no, you have to let me go and be a hero.
No, not even. It's like Infinity War when he was like, you got to let me go.
Yeah, well, yes. So yeah, it'll be like that.
Because
I was gonna say I don't want to, but that was the first thing that was the thing that popped in my head. But I was like, I don't want to.
He wants to be happy, but as like a real hero, he knows he has to put like the world before himself. He has to put others before himself, which is the exact opposite of what Wanda's doing.
Yeah, Wanda's not. She's putting herself before the world, and she don't give a fuck.
Fuck. Oh, fuck.
But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I remember now. So I definitely feel like they're gonna come to blows more than they did in this episode. They're gonna full on like battle.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Wanda is more powerful, and plus she created him, so she's gonna win. But then also, I feel like going to what you said, like he doesn't remember anything. I think part of also the reason why Pietro was recast. Mm-hmm. Is because he knows knows Aaron Taylor Johnson. So if he were to show up, then that would trigger something. Even though he doesn't remember, I feel like it would trigger something in his memory.
That's crazy. You're right.
And then I kind of feel like, how fucking brilliant is this show for Marvel to be so in an almost very metatextual type of way, not to be confused with metrosexual, but in a very kind of metatextual type of way to recast Pietro, and then acknowledge that he's recast and treat it like it's completely normal.
There's some Hickman
because it works in this whole sitcom aspect of the world. Because if you think about like Bewitched, when they recast Darren after like 5 seasons.
Oh wow! You know, it'd be crazy if they just had a character just disappear out of nowhere, like Family Matters.
Yeah, like what's her face? Judy, yeah,
just disappeared.
I was about to say Joanne, but I'm like, that's not her name. No. I don't know who the fuck that is. And then never acknowledge it. But they're not gonna do black sitcoms because I was like, oh, they in the 70s. Come on, give me some Good Times or the Jeffersons.
Yeah. Go to the black dude's house. What's his name? Just go to his house for 5 minutes.
Go to Herb. Go to Herb's
house for 5 minutes and give me some.
Let him see what you talk about, Willis. But they're not gonna do that. Herb wasn't even in this episode.
Exactly.
But like, yeah, I feel like I draw a blank of what I was about to say. But anyway, I'll move on to something else. But I definitely feel like this show is just like, I didn't even know what I wanted this show to be. I knew it was going to be good, but this fucking show is just like everything I've wanted. And it's kind of making me, because, I don't know if you saw, this to get off topic real quick, but then we'll go back to WandaVision. But you saw like the CW is they renewed like all their
Batwoman and
Arrowverse shows, even though the ratings for like Batwoman are tanking. Yeah. They still renewed it. But I'm just like, in this era of like the Mandalorian and them putting all this money and clout into this new era of superhero shows, I feel like I feel like the CW era of TV is like done.
It's dead.
Because I know some people are still talking about superhero fatigue. I don't think that's superhero fatigue. I think the fatigue is for subpar superhero properties.
Yeah, the ones that are like soap operas, like everything on the CW.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and like when people talk about bringing like the high quality shows to CW, I'm like, no, it's gonna fail over there. You're gonna bring it over there for it to fail. The budget's gonna be lowered, and it's just gonna be bad. Like Swamp Thing. Or like Doom Patrol, those shows that are on HBO Max, the good DC shows. I can't imagine them being on CW. It doesn't fit.
And wait a minute, Aubrey says everything is Westview already exists, and it's just I said rewritten. Clearly, I can't talk. Rewritten, aka Monica's clothes. Where did she get the twins from? That if Mephisto is part of this show, I feel like maybe she got him from because if they go the comic book route. She originally created her twins from Mephisto, but if not, if he's not part of the show, I don't know. Yeah, that I don't know. Because even and again, I feel like they're going to address it at some point because they mentioned it where Jimmy Woo was there and things were like, who are the kids? Like what are their real identities? And Monica was like, no, those are actually her kids.
Yeah.
And they're like, but how? Yeah. And they mentioned like she's getting way more powerful than we've ever seen. Yeah, and I feel like they're going to address at some point how she got to that point, because they said they were like, she was never able to do that before.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, do you have, like, obviously we know from the comics that she learned from Agatha Harkness, and that's when her power started to grow.
Mm-hmm.
But we know from this that's not the case.
Could it be like the encounter with Thanos or something like that? Like, because I reality warping as a comic fan, okay. Like, but as like a movie fan, like the MCU, like I don't see how they could jump to that so drastically, like warping reality. Like something had to happen. Like that can't be her normal power set, you know?
That's what I was saying. Like something had to have happened because it's only been 3 weeks since the end of Avengers Endgame. So something had to happen in those 3 weeks to prevent
the stones are gone.
And and the stones are gone. But she's basically she's basically a stone herself. And they kind of brought reference to that with her and
Vision.
Her and
Carol.
Yeah, her and Carol. Those are the only 2 people that were made from Infinity Stones. So that's why they are so powerful. And so technically speaking, Wanda's basically all the Infinity Stones. She can move shit with her mind. She can teleport in certain ways. She's the Reality Stone. She's warping reality. She can alter people's minds. She's the Mind Stone.
Ooh.
She's creating souls. She's creating these twins. She's the Soul Stone, even though they didn't really talk about what the Soul Stone did in the comics. Not the comics, the movies.
Yeah. But like the twins really wanted her to bring back that dog, and Agatha did too. I think. You think bringing back the dog is like prep for them bringing Mephisto into the world or something like that, or something?
Let me address this real quick. Did anyone else see the? Hell no, I'm not looking. But I did see that episode leak, but I don't know if you saw it.
I saw it.
If anybody saw that leak, do not put it in this. Do not put it in the chat. If you put it in the chat, you will get banned, and you will not be unbanned. So yeah, no spoilers. Like no sex in the champagne, like no sex in the champagne room, no spoilers in the safe haven. But yeah, I'm not looking at those leaks. I saw a couple people talking about it on Twitter, and I'm like, nope. I want to be surprised. Although I was Mark Harris, not the whole episode didn't leak, but like I think it was like a 30-second clip. Or whatever, that everybody's like, oh my god, it's amazing. I don't know what it was, but it's like a grainy video that leaked on Twitter. So if you want to know, if you don't care about spoilers,
it's on Twitter.
It's on Twitter. Just I guess look up the WandaVision episode 6 spoiler hashtag or whatever. You can find it. But I'm not looking. I don't want to know. All I know is because somebody said they got spoiled. And they said something like something that you said was right, and you're gonna freak the fuck out. So I'm just like, that's all I know. But I don't want to know. But I will say I am a little disappointed because the spoiler leaked. I thought because of that, Marvel and Disney were gonna try to get ahead of it, and maybe they're gonna release episode 5 and 6 this week.
Oh, that would have been cool, but I don't think
that would have been cool. But
there's so much in every episode that they can just stretch. They can stretch it out like this. I mean, I don't like it, but they have enough in each episode to do that.
They do, but I was a little disappointed because I'm like, oh, not give me episode 6 since it's leaked. Like what they did with Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, the episode leaked early, and so HBO was just like, fuck it, let's just release it early. What were you about to say?
But I still can't get over when Wanda came out the portal, and she was talking to Monica, and Monica was like, "I know deep down you're like a good person, and you know you really don't want to do this. You're hurting all these people." And she's like, "I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck."
Not and then she's like, this is where my mind goes. But when she was talking, when Monica was talking, like, deep down that I'm an ally, and I'm like, the white woman should be the ally. Yeah. But that's just where my mind went. But I also found it interesting, and this is a play on the acting. Again, Elizabeth fucking Olsen is brilliant. Granted, I don't know if the director told her to do this, but when she came out the portal, you heard her accent coming back.
Yes. Yes. Like it was really her. Like, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't pull like Avengers Infinity War where it just suddenly disappeared.
Yeah.
Like, granted, it wasn't as thick as it was in Age of Ultron, but you could hear it was like, like as she was getting, kind of like people say, like that lose their accent
when
like
you get angry.
when you get angry and when you get drunk, or sometimes like my mother's accent isn't as thick because my mother's from Trinidad. Her accent isn't as thick when she's around like people that speak American, but when she's around her family and stuff like that, it gets thicker.
Yeah.
So it's almost kind of the same thing. So I noticed that almost immediately when I heard her accent. I was like, oh, she pissed. But then when she saw Monica and she was like, oh, you're still here. She summoned her pop. I was like, you better not. Bitch, you better not.
And then she pulled guns on all those people, and it's like I'm thinking,
she pulled guns on all those people.
She didn't get away with that.
I'm like, you gotta go. Wanda gotta go to jail.
Exactly. Because nobody else get away with that shit. Nobody.
And granted, he's an asshole, and like you said, he's just white. But I mean, so is Wanda. But the moment he was like, "Can you blame me?"
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, yeah, I kind of agree with him. Mm-hmm. But wait a minute, I think I missed. I think I missed two. Okay, yeah, here we go. Mark, again, thank you again. Like exactly. I appreciate you, Mark. When Wanda came out, it was terrifying, but so satisfying. I love how Monica. Oh wait, I addressed this one, but no, it was another one. Still from Mark. Paul's and Elizabeth's chemistry in that last scene was amazing.
Yes.
I also love how Pietro reacted to Vision.
That was really sitcom-y how he.
It was very sitcom-y. And then they gave him like the white New York, the white New Jersey accent. And the reason, what? Maybe I got that accent. I can't fucking talk today. The reason I say the white New Jersey accent because I'm from New Jersey and I don't talk like that. It's like who's this mook?
Yeah, definitely.
Granted, it's the 80s, but even still, like, I don't talk like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very like stereotypical. And yeah, I definitely.
Oh, so maybe the next episode is going to be Full House because you got Pietro's like Uncle Jesse.
Yeah, Pietro's going to be Uncle Jesse, and plus she is an Olsen twin.
Exactly.
Because this was the 80s. Because I was like, wait, wouldn't that be the 90s? Yeah, because this was the 80s. So definitely next week's episode will be probably Full House. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he's got to be Uncle Jesse.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I am looking forward to that. But I'm still wondering. Because I mean, it could be both. Because they did say it's going to connect to Doctor Strange. So I'm like, is this Peter from the X-Men movies, or is he just in the MCU playing Pietro? But he's that beat. I honestly, I'm gonna put.
If he is Pietro, then it confirms the multiverse. It confirms the Spider-Man movie. It confirms a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
I think he's going to be the beekeeper. I think he's the beekeeper.
I think it's Pietro. Like, look at J. Jonah Jameson and Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that's true. But the difference is he's not playing the J. Jonah Jameson from the Raimi movies. He's playing J. Jonah Jameson. He's just playing it again.
Maybe right.
So it's a lot. It's just there's a lot when it fucking comes to when it fucking comes to this show. Like, and I love the fact that unlike the Star Wars universe, the new sequel trilogy, this shit is all planned out. Definitely. All of it is all planned out.
I can't, like, you see the meme with the lady from Star Wars saying, "Oh, we didn't have any books to base this on. We just went off the top of our head."
Oh no, yeah, I saw that stupid shit. As if even if that were true, which is not.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but George Lucas had a layout.
Exactly.
That you didn't follow.
Exactly.
So like, what the hell are y'all doing? But I'm trying to think of another Easter egg that dropped in this episode. I definitely also feel like the mailman is probably somebody. Because he was also the first one they saw.
Maybe.
And then we saw him again. And then he also knows. I'm starting to feel like everybody in town knows. Because he was like, "Oh, your mother won't let nothing happen to him." It's like,
yeah.
Oh, so you know what she's capable of.
It seems like everybody knows except Vision at this point. Well, not everybody, because the guy that Vision was at work.
Norm.
Trapped. Yeah, Norm was trapped. But not everybody's trapped like that. Some people know exactly what's going on.
So that's the thing I'm kind of confused about. Like
between those people and the other people.
So that's the thing I'm wondering about. Like, so we kind of have an idea who knows and who doesn't, but then My question is why? Why these specific people? Why does like Herb know, but Norm doesn't know when they run in the same circles?
Exactly.
We know Agnes is the witch, so we know why she knows. But then also, but what about Dottie? Which, funny enough, she wasn't in this episode. We know she kind of knows something when she confronted Wanda in episode 2. But then, like, does her husband know anything? So that's the thing. And then also going to what Wanda mentioned at the end of this episode, where she was like, and I don't know if she was lying or if she was just trying to placate Vision, where she was like, do you really think I'm controlling everybody in this town? I'm controlling who most.
She's playing him. She's playing him.
You think she's playing him?
Gaslighting him.
Okay, so you think she was okay? Because that I was like, I don't know if she was trying to placate him or she was being realistic. Because she did kind of say like, I don't know how all of this started.
She's lying. She definitely does. She took the body.
Yeah, she took the body.
And then what? You think she took the body and was just sleeping with it?
I mean,
I didn't mean it. I mean, whatever.
Well, no, I definitely think she created Vision, but did she create Westview?
She had to. I think that like it had to be some kind of deal for her because resurrecting people from the dead isn't her thing. You know what I mean? Like there had to be some kind of deal with it, whether it was Agatha, Mephisto, Dormammu. There was some kind of deal, you know. And I keep going back to Dormammu because that line in Doctor Strange, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. You know what I mean? And I think it has something to do with like releasing.
And yeah, real Arenda. I definitely feel like because they mention him in almost every freaking episode, he's definitely gonna show up at some point. And I mean, for the longest time, I've been saying I still feel like I think he's Mephisto.
Yeah.
But Jabari, like this is the same thing I kind of referenced earlier in the live where I was asking like, how do they know all this stuff?
It makes sense that Darcy knows because she used to hang out with Thor.
But it's not like her and Thor are like best friends. Like Thor's calling her up on the phone, like, "Hey, Darcy, you know what happened?" Girl, let me tell you what I just did with Thanos.
Yeah,
I don't think they're that close.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the whole question.
But I mean, you know what it is?
Yeah, I asked this earlier because I'm like, yeah, how do they know?
Maybe after the snap, there was just like regular stuff, like it's history, like the blip, the snap is part of like their world history. It's in textbooks and stuff. You know what I mean? So maybe it's just common information at this point.
Maybe, but even then, I don't feel like that because remember, this is only 3 weeks. It's only been 3 weeks.
Or maybe they know because they're like in classified sectors, you know, like they're working with Shield, they're working with Sword. Maybe that's why they know. Like maybe that was all in the dossier when they got the job. Yeah,
maybe, but I'm like, they know information like they've been watching it on TV.
Yeah,
like there's they talking about the stones and intimate details of Captain Marvel almost defeating Thanos.
Yeah,
I feel like those type of details, even if they got a dossier, I feel like those type of details will not be in there. Like how Wanda almost defeated Thanos or whatever.
Maybe Rhodey with all the details.
I don't know, but yeah, like they know like intimate details.
Yeah.
Like how Monica know details like Wanda almost killing Thanos. Yeah, that's my point. I'm like, how do they know this stuff? Like, I don't know if that's maybe like a writing error, just that like the writers threw that in there just so they could talk to the audience, like writers would do sometimes, just to like tell the fans like, hey, Wanda is actually the strongest Avenger, and I also want to acknowledge that Captain Marvel is also the strongest too. So they threw that in there for that, or if there's going to be some type of, they threw that in there as a reference that they're going to play off later. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Because yeah, I have that question. Like, how do they know all that shit?
I don't know. I'm excited for Multiverse of Madness now too. I just think about all the different things that we could see. What do you think Cap signed on for? I know some people said it might have been you that said he might be a Skrull. Yeah,
that was me. I think he's a Skrull, and I think he's gonna show up in Secret Wars.
There were a whole bunch of rumors before about popular actors being casted for like roles like I think it was somebody for Iron Man or something like that, and maybe that's part of Multiverse of Madness. Like you might see Cruise Iron Man and Multiverse of Madness, something like that.
I'm like twitching. because you said that. No, but I'm talking about because you said that word. I hate when people say that word.
What?
As an actor, as a person that went to school for theater, when people say, "Oh, this person was casted," I'm like, "Oh, that's not
cast.
That's not a word. That's not a word. It's not casted.
Casted, texted it, whatever else it did. Head did it.
Oh yeah, me and her was conversating. Oh, that's not a word.
Conversating is AAVU. Conversating is African American vernacular. You can't give it a conversating.
Conversate. I still twitch, but I don't twitch as much as when people say casted. I'm like
casted. They casted it in.
But yeah, Aubrey, maybe that could be it. They've been monitoring sentient weapons for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
you know what it really is,
maybe because they talked about having space satellites. Maybe
I just about to say that the entire battle from Endgame is on Google Maps. It was on Google Maps.
That could be true because I could go on Google Maps and look at my
you can't kill nobody. You can't hide a body no more. These satellites watching everybody. You can't do nothing.
I could go on Google Maps and look at my street. So maybe
the whole fight is on Google Maps.
And then you also think of Spider-Man 3, where has that satellite. What was the name of the glasses that he wore? What was the acronym? It wasn't Friday.
It was a guy's name, no? Or was it a girl's? It was a female voice. No,
I think it was a girl's voice. But whatever the name is, he had the satellite
around the world.
So maybe Sword has a satellite too, because they're all about space. So maybe that's how they know about. They have the whole thing.
And that's what Ultron was actually supposed to be in the first place. Was a satellite, like a shield around the planet, like monitoring the Earth. That's what Ultron was supposed to be in the movies at first.
Yeah, so they were watching. Yeah, they were watching on Google Maps.
Yeah,
not they bought out MapQuest, and that's their domain.
I'm looking up the name of these glasses. What was it?
What was it? There are a ton of people here.
Edith for the glasses
for Spider-Man. There are a ton of people here in Atlanta for Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, you seen the guy on most that said he delivered to Andrew Garfield.
What'd you say?
There was a guy on Grubhub that works for Grubhub, and he said he just delivered to Andrew Garfield in Atlanta.
Oh no, I didn't see that. But yeah, a lot of the Marvel movies, pretty much most of the Marvel movies are shot in Atlanta.
Like the WandaVision is shot in Georgia.
Yeah, WandaVision was shot in Atlanta. Parts of Thor. Parts of Guardians. Parts of Black Panther was shot in Atlanta. Parts of Captain America: Winter Soldier was shot in Atlanta. Like a lot of those Marvel movies are shot in Atlanta. Most of the principal photography. Oh, there we go. Edith. So wait, what is this? Jocasta. What's that in reference to?
You don't know who Jocasta is?
No, I know who Jocasta is, but I'm saying what is that in reference? Like what did we say that made him say Jocasta? Like I know who she is, but I'm trying to figure out. I guess maybe mentioning Ultron. Maybe they're trying to build a Jocasta. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. Ultron's the one villain I could see come back though, if they were to bring somebody back.
They could easily bring back Ultron. Just say like a fragment of him lived on in the internet. They didn't get rid of all of him or whatever the case may be. But I should have looked it up. This is what happens when you go live and don't be prepared. There was an Easter egg, and when you don't take notes, that they dropped in this episode. So the because I was like, I feel like I'm missing something. I was like, I don't want to miss nothing. So yeah, the commercial.
Oh, there was another commercial.
So the commercial for this episode, again, I feel like all the commercials pretty much are about Wanda's trauma. So this commercial reference, and then they kind of referenced it when Jimmy Woo was talking about Wanda. Lagos when she killed those people during Civil War, and it was like a paper towel commercial, and it was like clean away your mess. yeah, somebody just made Lagos. That was the name of the paper towel, and I was like all of this, and
then
then
the same actors too from the
that's what I was just about to say. Every commercial is the same actors. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, are those supposed to represent her parents?
Oh, that's crazy. Maybe.
Because otherwise, because again, if it's supposed to be about her trauma, and then you see all these segments throughout her life, but they're always played by the same actors. And so what was Wanda's first trauma? The fact that she lost her parents to a Stark missile, which was also the first commercial. So I feel like at some point it's going to be revealed that those were her, not her real parents. Because I'm still hoping that Magneto's her actual father, because they do reference their names, whatever Maximoff.
She's being messed with too in her own universe. Like she's being messed with too.
Who, Wanda?
Yeah,
I do, because that's what I was saying. Like, I don't think she's the main puppet master behind this. Like, I feel like, if anything, especially when it comes to the kids, I feel like Agatha is perhaps. I think Agatha is still a good person. Like, she's still a good guy, but I feel like maybe or not even just that. I feel like Mephisto's manipulating her. Like
Ralph?
maybe Ralph. Maybe he has something on her, or she has a piece of her soul, or maybe like the reference to like bringing somebody back from the dead. Yeah. He like promised her like Wanda can do it or whatever. You just need to do certain things for me to get Wanda to do it or whatever the case may be. So she's doing
definitely something about that dog and the fact that she wanted so bad for her to bring that dog back to life. Like she killed that dog, and
she definitely killed this. I definitely feel like she killed that dog.
Yeah, exactly. And she had the kids in on it. Like, you can do it, mommy. Yeah, you can do it, right? It's like it wasn't like them just crying, and it was something different, you know? They were like crying and like, mommy, can you bring it back, please? They was like, no, you can do it, right?
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Like, do it.
Yeah, do it.
And it made me wonder, like, can she?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we never really see
the dog. Like, I think the dog didn't represent the dog. I don't know what it did represent, but it didn't represent the dog, you know?
Yeah, yes, my husband Ralph is no good. He's definitely Mephistopheles in my mind. Yeah, in my mind too. But yeah, because I'm like, can she really bring like if she tried to bring back the dead? Because I think about like Buffy the Vampire Slayer when Dawn tried to bring back Joyce.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It never works out.
It never works out. And then I do kind of feel like Wanda's kids are going to eventually cause her to have a change of heart about everything that she's doing with Vision and stuff like that. And the reason I say that is because while she was having that conversation, and again, this is like, I know there's more that I wanted to bring up, but while she was having that conversation with the kids about like, because once Wanda was saying that she can't bring them back, she can't do it. The kids looked at each other like they were about to just age themselves up again. So I find that also weird that outside of Wanda, they themselves have the ability to make themselves older.
Exactly. There's nothing to do with her. And then the way she said, like she talked to them like they were aging up to escape a trauma or something like that. And she told them not to do that. Do you think that's why they were doing that, or were they doing that to get something out of her?
I think it was to escape the trauma or whatever. Yeah. And so getting into what I was going to say, about the kids being the reason why I think she's gonna eventually come out of it and become the good guy again. Because I don't think they're gonna go like full House of M and have her like, because a bunch of mutants died when she did House of M. I don't think they're gonna go that route. But the conversation that she had with the kids, where she was like, "I know grief is hard." She's like, "Trust me, I know. But you have to accept it, and you have to go through the pain and all that else." And like the whole time she was having that conversation, I'm like, "But you're like a full-on hypocrite, like, because you're like the whole you created this world."
Maybe the kids are part of her, and she's talking to herself. You know, that's like a common
but that's the point. That's the point I was gonna say. Yeah. Like, I feel like the kids, her having these conversations with those kids because they are young, that's gonna eventually cause her to like realize, like, damn, I'm the one that's doing this shit.
Yeah.
Because they're still young, so eventually they're gonna keep making young kids mistakes.
Her mistakes,
pretty much. Hey Jessica, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. I really appreciate you. How did Monica know about Wanda?
Google Maps. Google
You probably,
Maps.
hey, Philly born, you probably just came in the chat. Yeah, we just referenced that. We don't know, but
It's Google Maps.
yeah, I was just about to say. Ron said they learned from Google Maps because Sword has satellites up in space, so they watch the whole battlefield with
HD.
Thanos on full, not even HD. They're watching in 4K. They're watching in 4K on Google Maps.
Yeah.
My bad. It's okay. It's okay. You don't gotta apologize. It's a live stream. So whenever you coming in, I appreciate all of you guys. It's but also real quick, 24 people in the live stream. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for rocking. Oh, wait, it just went up. Now it's 25. Whoever that 25th person is, thank you. Thank you for coming here, joining the live stream. If you haven't already, if you could do me a favor and Hulk smash that like button or snap your reality fingers, do a Thanos snap to that like button, it'd be greatly appreciated. Or if you're watching later on the replay, please do me a favor and hit that like button. I see somebody hit the dislike button. If you don't like the live stream, you can hit the dislike button. That's fine. That's engagement. So I appreciate you. Whether you like me, dislike. I mean, I'm all for criticism. Just let me know why you hit the dislike. Maybe it's because my name's BlackGayComicGeek. That could be it, because I've got those too. But yeah, so I definitely feel like the kids are a little bit of therapy.
Hurt therapy. Maybe
hurt therapy.
Yeah. Maybe this whole I can't be. I wouldn't say the whole thing could be therapy, but why is Vision there? Why is he hurting random people?
And Monica did still try to come to her defense and basically made the point that like Wanda stopped whatever this cosmic microwave radiation from expanding even further, and affecting thousands of more people. But it also kind of makes me ask, but then why these people then?
Exactly. And did she start the cosmic radiation thing? Like you don't get credit for putting out fires that you started. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's why I was thinking, like, again, jumping to the end of the conversation when she said, I didn't start this, but I'm damn sure taking advantage of. Like, I think that's kind of what I got from it. She didn't create this world, but she's damn sure taking advantage of it.
But is it though? Because I don't know when she's lying. Because the whole time she was talking to Vision at the end, she definitely was lying, in my opinion.
Oh no, I feel like she was lying about some things, like pretending to not know. But I don't, and I could be wrong, but I don't necessarily think she created this world.
We'll see. We'll get there. That's a lot. That's a lot. Do you think
Wanda upset about the kids growing up as if they aren't just going to go to Westview Community College?
Yeah, she ain't letting them go away.
Nah, she ain't. And that's even another thing. Like like Vision, because again, Vision trying to reference and figure out things that's going on. And part of that is also because he does have a robot brain. And now that we also know it is actually Vision and not a conjuration that she made, like he noticed that he's like, Wanda, why are there no kids in this town?
Why are there no dogs? We have the only kids, the only dog.
Yeah, like something's weird. And I do kind of feel like, because I did see the preview for like when they released like the trailer for the whole season of WandaVision, and I think next episode is the Halloween episode, I think. And we saw kids in those episodes. So I don't know if maybe she conjured kids or maybe she expanded Westview. Because I'm like, where'd those kids come from? And it's funny that they're coming literally after he says, "Where are the kids, Wanda?"
Exactly. She just makes them up to appease him or whatever.
Yeah, to appease him.
Yeah, but she definitely controls him, because remember, was it episode 2? The same thing with the beekeeper. She just erased that whole thing. She mind wiped them.
Yeah, not even just the beekeeper, but when in episode 3, when and this is another thing I'm gonna rush. So let me put this in the back and let me put a pin in that. But in episode 3, when Vision first approached Wanda and was like, "There's something wrong here, Wanda," and then she looked at him and then they like glitched back.
Exactly. But why I'm saying what I brought that up is to say, how come she decided then to just control him or wipe it away, but this episode she confronted him and they had it out.
maybe she didn't want to manipulate him, or maybe, and this is what I said I was going to put a pin in. So I guess it connects. So good for you. But,
maybe she feels bad.
I partially think like to throw a reference to Coming to America, and Wanda's feeling her royal oats. Like, even like jumping into like the beginning of this episode where she used her magic in front of Agnes, and Vision was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, I remember in the first 2 episodes, she's like, "I want to be normal. I want everybody to accept us." And now Wanda's like, "I don't care anymore. Like, I don't want to hide."
She did say that. She said that she didn't want to hide. She did.
Yeah, she's talking to Vision like, maybe you shouldn't hide either. And Vision's like, that's not what we agreed upon. Like,
yeah, that's not what it is.
Yeah, remember you said you
want.
I
think she's realizing that she controls the whole world, and if somebody says or does something that she doesn't like, she just,
So going into that and her like really lead, I feel like maybe she doesn't want to. Because she knows she can control Vision, she's just like, whatever. You can get mad, but if you go too far,
ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, you ain't going nowhere. So
you ain't going nowhere.
What
you argue.
Yeah, you can feel froggy all you want, but you're not going to leap. So
exactly.
Kind of like what she said. Kind of like again, we're going back to what she said. He's like, you can't manipulate me, Juan. She's like, can I? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, he doesn't realize it's happening.
I was about to say the N word. I'm like, and what? But that was YouTube. I don't want to get flagged. But like, that's exactly what Wanda did.
I thought it could have been maybe just the conversation with Monica about hurting and manipulating people that happened. Because it happened right before that. So maybe she decided to stop manipulating him because of that.
Maybe, or maybe she kind of feels the more she manipulates him, the more he keeps figuring out.
Yeah.
But the real Rendondo, Wanda stole people's children. # WandaGay. I don't think she stole people's children. No, I don't. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Wanda's coming after all your kids. I don't think. No, we're talking about the Halloween episode. I think. Maybe she did steal people's children.
Yeah, definitely
to get them in that Halloween
out of nowhere. Yeah, because she can't create something out of nothing. At least I don't think so.
No, she can't create something out. They addressed that in this episode where she took Monica. Yeah, she took Monica's Kevlar and turned it into her 70s clothes.
Exactly.
So that's why her clothes were bulletproof.
Yeah, that's how reality warping works. Like, you can't create even like Silver characters like.
Unless you're Franklin Richards.
Oh yeah, unless you're Franklin Richards. But even characters like Silver Surfer, like, they need like mass. So like, if you want to make apples, you gotta turn something else into apples. You gotta turn leaves into apples.
Yeah, like even Molecule Man, he can warp reality, but he has to change. Like, he could change this cup into a bird, but the cup has to be there.
Yeah.
So, I don't think she's keeping her reality warping powers after this, because
of course not. She doesn't keep them in the comics. She's too dangerous.
Yeah, she doesn't keep. Well, not even just because she's dangerous, but like, where do you go from here? If you could like snap your fingers, and I think that's part of the reason why they keep always, and even if you think in the comics, they keep depowering Franklin Richards. Or you think about what Dan Slott's doing right now.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any of his powers, and he's not a mutant, which is trash. I'm not even gonna get into that. It's so fucking stupid. But you can't really write any stories when you have a character that can literally snap their fingers and do whatever the fuck they want.
It's hard. I won't say you can't, but it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it's very hard.
I'm bad about Dan Slott, but like, he wrote an incredible Silver Surfer one. Is one of my favorite books ever, and the story is not really about his powers, and that's why it's a good story. But yeah, it's hard to write that.
Yeah. What is this? What if she turns adults in Westview into kids?
She could do that.
Yeah, she could do that. Herb and all them. She turned them all into kids. Maybe. Wanda is in control, but that doesn't necessarily mean the pocket realm was originally her idea. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel that same way. Like, I don't think she created the world.
I'm saying, even if she didn't create, so you think the world was created and then she went to go get Vision's body, or she got Vision's body as soon as the end game was over and then brought him, like, the world happened around her? Or
so I think going into with me saying I think Mephisto is in the show, I think within the span of time, remember we were saying like something had to have happened between Avengers Endgame and this for her to be like,
even if you go back to Endgame, the conversation between her and Hawkeye about bringing people back. Like you can't bring them back.
But my thing is, I feel like in that space of time, the 3 weeks time, maybe Mephisto approached her and was like, "Hey, I can give you your happily ever after with Vision or whatever. I can create this world for you to, you know, have your happily ever after. It's just certain things maybe you got to do for me or whatever. Maybe there's a wish you got to make or this, I don't know. And so
bring me into the world or something like that,
or something. And so because of that, once she realized or she had that conversation with Mephisto, she took the deal. And so she had to go get his body in order for her to bring it back, you know, or for him to bring it back.
Do you think that Mephisto randomly approaches her? Like, I don't see that being written. I see her maybe seeking out a way to bring Vision back, and then
I don't know. I don't think he randomly approached her, but maybe she summoned him, or maybe her grief was so great that it called out to him, almost kind of like in a supernatural type of way, where like, I don't know if you watch Supernatural.
Off and on, I wasn't really.
Well, I'm not. Well, for those of you in the chat that maybe do watch Supernatural, but like maybe that's not because I'm probably the only one. But like, if you have a lot of grief, it calls out to like what's called a crossroads demon, and then he basically feeds on that grief and was like say for your example, your mother died of cancer or whatever, and you're grieving, and like, hey, I could bring your mother back if you make a wish. Or you like give me if you give me your soul for the next 10 years, I could bring your mother back or whatever. Or you want to be rich for the next 10 years, you could be the richest man in the world. You just have to give me your soul, and in 10 years' time, I'm coming to collect. So maybe it's something like that.
Why Jeff Bezos not dead yet? Then
I mean, he did just step down as the CEO, so maybe he knows. Maybe he knows that time is coming up. So, wait, what is this? I think the fact that she didn't kill Thanos herself made her snap. I mean, I don't think so. I think Vision being dead and whatever is.
And he didn't even know who she was. That was a different Thanos. I don't even know who you are.
Because it wasn't the same Thanos that she
it's really cool that like, I mean, as like comic fans, we see stuff like this all the time, but I think it's cool that we're getting to the point where like people who just watch movies and stuff can like accept these crazy things like reality warping and stuff like that in their media. I think it's dope. Like I still always say like, oh, this stuff would never work with people who don't read comics, and now it is working.
But I think also part of that has to do with the fact that I don't think a lot of studios trusted the audience enough, because I feel like that's
they
also
thought y'all was dumb, y'all. They thought y'all was dumb.
Yeah, they pretty much they think we dumb, because I feel like that's why they always try to humanize people like Superman. It's like you got a literal god that you know, the gods amongst us. He's a fucking alien, but they always try to like humanize his powers and try to make him more relatable. And it's like, but no, he's technically not supposed to be relatable. He's supposed to be the ideal of what we're supposed to strive for. That's what makes Superman Superman. Yeah. He's almost like a Jesus figure.
Yeah. Spider-Man is relatable. Peter Parker.
Yeah, Spider-Man is supposed to be relatable. That's why he got like bills that he can't pay, or he's getting evicted and stuff. So like make him the relatable character, but not Superman. But I think also that's part of the strength of the MCU and what they've built, because no other studio is able to do what the MCU has been able to do. They're still trying. And I'm not even just talking about DC. I'm talking about everybody. Everybody's talking about trying to get a shared universe. Like Universal was trying to get the Dark Universe.
Yeah, the monster movies and stuff.
Yeah, the monster movies, and that failed miserably at every turn. Yeah. So everybody's trying to get, because I mean the MCU. They're kind of now at the point. I mean, obviously coronavirus, but they're kind of now at the point that every movie that they're making is coming out as $1 billion.
Exactly.
Not just because before it was just Avengers movies that was making $1 billion, but now it's like you got Black Panther made $1 billion. Captain Marvel
Iron Man 3 made $1 billion.
Yeah, Iron Man 3 made $1 billion. Captain Marvel made $1 billion. Black Panther made $1 billion. Spider-Man made $1 billion.
Yo, if the Eternals makes $1 billion, I quit. Like that's it. They win. It's over. It's like no more. You can't even. There's no more conversations about who does what better or anything like that. If Eternals makes $1 billion, that's it.
And it might too, because also I think part of it has to do because like once Eternals comes out, like we haven't been in the theaters in a while, so a lot of people are probably going to be starved to see like big screen entertainment. So I think by that default alone, Black Widow and Eternals, like to finally get. It's been a while since we've been able to watch a Marvel movie on the big screen. So yeah, I think for those two factors alone, I think Black Widow and Eternals will make $1 billion.
Crazy.
But yeah, I don't. But granted, I'm excited to check out Eternals. But like, who the fuck?
Yeah, I want to see. I know I want to see it.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to see it, but at the same time, I'm like, Eternals though.
Yeah. I hope they reference Thanos and stuff like that in the movie.
They have to. I think Thanos is going to be in the movie because I think it's supposed to take place in the past. So those his people. So I think he's going to be young Thanos.
Yeah.
And they talked about Titan being wiped out, and so I guess the Eternals are now dead. So yeah, I definitely feel like it's going to be young Thanos.
Okay. I didn't know it was supposed to take place in the past, but I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
They should go the Shazam and Aquaman route. I love those two from DC. What do you mean? Oh, I guess you mean in terms of like the shared, or I don't even know. Well, actually, just tell me. Yeah, what do you mean by that, real Arendo? DC should stop making such serious movies. I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's all on what's his face, Snyder, trying to make these dark ass movies and shit like that.
Well, yeah, they try to Snyderize everything.
Yeah, which
doesn't work like
with anybody but Batman.
Yeah, it doesn't work with Batman. I mean, not even just Batman. There's some characters that lean into that darkness, like Batman, like Midnighter and Apollo.
Yeah, but like people aren't familiar, like we talked before, like maybe like on the HBO Max or something like that. But you can't. But
like Superman, his whole thing, like the S on his chest is about hope.
Yeah, exactly.
He's supposed so to try to make him dark and brooding, like the shit doesn't work. Yeah. It's stupid.
It's not what people want to see, and that's how DC let Captain America become more popular than Superman. It's crazy. It's crazy. It shouldn't be that way, but it is now because DC doesn't know what they're doing with their properties.
Exactly, but and they still don't know what they're freaking doing with their properties because, like, all these shows that they got, like, especially, and this is to get off topic real quick, but I have to address, especially with you when I have you in the conversation, but like the casting for Tim Drake in the Titans show.
Oh yeah, I was talking to one of my friends about this.
I'm not a fan.
I'm surprised Titans is on season 4. I'm really surprised because I don't watch.
Wait, they're on season 4. I thought they were both to be on season 3.
Season 4, bro. They going on, I think.
I don't know, but for those in the chat that don't know, let me share my screen so I can show you the casting. So, can you see my screen? Okay, yeah, I see it. So this guy right here, they have cast to play Tim Drake. Yeah, it says season 3. They're in season 3.
My problem wasn't I don't like the casting in general, but the way they wrote the bio for Tim Drake.
So yeah, that's what I was gonna get into. Yeah. But yeah, it says it's season 3. They're not season 4.
Okay.
But
Attack on Titan is in season 4. That's probably what threw me off.
But yeah, so that guy right there, they cast as Tim Drake. And for those that don't know, Tim Drake is traditionally a white presenting character in the comics, but then they cast this black kid as Tim Drake.
Barely.
So basically, he's barely black. But you know how they do. You know how they do when they race band, they get like the lightest. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that. So for the lack of a better word, because I hate when people say this, but for the lack of a better word, they race swapped Tim Drake to somebody black, which I don't have a problem with generally.
Mm-hmm.
But what I have a problem with is the fact that in the description, they say that he's a street tough, streetwise kid that's, that grew up on the streets or whatever. And that's not Tim Drake.
No, that's
just Jason Todd. So you're basically casting a black actor as Tim Drake, which is fine, but then you're not giving him the origin of Tim Drake. And then yeah, and because he's black, because he's an N, because y'all N's are can't be nothing, else but street, but can't play the smartest Robin.
You can't play the smartest Robin. You're gonna make you a thug, a reformed thug. That's what. So,
not only did you basically make him a stereotype by making him, talk about he's street smart and all this other stuff, and you made him like the light-skinned black you could find. But Tim Drake is Tim Drake is of the same class as Bruce Wayne. Tim Drake's parents are billionaires. Mm-hmm. Tim Drake is basically more or less the next door neighbor of Batman or Bruce Wayne. Tim Drake grew up in privilege. He didn't grow up on the streets. The thing the thing that sets Tim Drake apart from the other Robins is he's the smartest. He figured out who Batman and Robin was just based on his pure intellect alone. And it was said that with enough training and all that, he can end up being even smarter than Batman himself.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Drake is all privilege, but then you get to freaking this description. You cast a black person. It's like, no, we can't have him be a privileged black person. We have to say he's street tough and grew up on the streets. That's the shit I have a problem with.
And how many? Not that I want to see it, but we don't get that many.
Wait. Real Orlando said he's black. I thought he was South Asian. I guess referring to Jay. Or maybe he's brown skinned. So let's say that maybe he's not black. He's brown skinned, and Tim Drake isn't.
And how many representations of do well black people do we have on TV? Like how many rich black people do you see on TV, or black people that aren't struggling? That aren't So if he's not black and if he's South Asian, which to me would make sense for him to be brown, but either way, he looked black. He lives big.
Yeah, he looks black. So if he's not if he's not black, so instead of saying black, he's brown. Yeah. So you still cast a brown person as somewhat of a stereotype because street smart. That's still not what, regardless of whether he's black or not. That's not Tim Drake. That's not Tim Drake's origin.
Mm-hmm.
So what you described as Jason Todd or even Duke Thomas, more or less, which I'm not a fan of. The Duke Thomas is the Signal.
The Signal. He tried. They tried. Scott Snyder tried.
I hate that name.
Yeah, this is a stupid name. I mean, when they come across the ideas hey, I want to make a black character, you need to call your black friend and ask him for input. You know what I mean? You can't. You don't have the experience. You don't have the range to write these characters.
But since we're off topic, getting back to WandaVision, and we're gonna wind down because I don't really have much else to say. But also, one thing I wanted to reference, Vision's ability to wake people up. What do you think? Because I don't really know. I don't really know what that was.
I think he just reconfigured the dude's brain. Vision can go through anything. You know what I mean? So he just rewired his brain or whatever. Literally, the electrons, the electricity going through his brain. He said whatever was wrong, right?
I mean, I guess that's the simplest.
Yeah,
the simplest explanation for it. And then also they kind of reference that they do throw a reference that at some point Wanda is going to call herself Scarlet Witch, probably by the end of this. Because they said,
that's why they kept saying she has no nickname.
Yeah, because they were kind of what's her? She doesn't have a funny name.
Yeah.
So I think
it
some
like a big scene, like I am the Scarlet Witch, some big like
some cheesy, or maybe
Yeah.
somebody calls her, she's wearing red, and there's like,
Mm.
and she does some shit. She's a Scarlet Witch. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but even just say, like, even hearing myself say it out loud, I'm like, it sounds cheesy as hell.
Yeah.
But now that reminded me, Scarlet, I think of red. What do you, and I kind of have an idea what she did, but what do you think? But I still want to hear you say it. When you, because remember when you saw the force field, when she went back into the force field and like the whole thing just like changed red. What do you think that was?
I don't know. I just think that was her hex powers.
I think it was probably her using her power, because remember they were sending shit in there. I think that was her using her ability to like lock them out.
There was a scene, I forgot, when they were talking about Monica getting in and all the people in the bubble, maybe they're grieving or something like that. And maybe that's why they're allowed in, because Wanda's grieving. Monica just came back to find out that her mother's dead. She's grieving. Maybe that's why she was allowed in the bubble in the first place.
Oh shit, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. And literally, I was kind of referencing that earlier. I didn't put two and two together. But remember when I was talking about Agnes, and she was really wishing for her to bring that dog back.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right, and maybe that's why she was hoping you could bring people back from the dead. Yeah. I think Monica, Agnes, Norm, everybody in there is grieving, and maybe lost somebody, and that's their connection, and that's maybe why Wanda stopped the world from going even further, because she got all the people that's grieving, so they can all, because misery loves company, so she got all the people that's grieving together, so they can grieve together, even though they're not grieving together. She's grieving by herself. That's why she keeps saying my husband
Ralph is dead, maybe. And Herb got a wife. I ain't seen no wife with Herb. Like, all these people are like, yeah, they probably lost somebody. Everybody.
So yeah, maybe that is it. Maybe Ralph is dead. Fuck. Like, my mind is blown now. Like, because all this whole time I was like, nah, Ralph is Mephisto. No, maybe the reason why we don't see Ralph is because he's dead.
Yeah.
And she's not accepting it because Wanda altered her memory. And that's who she wants. And that's who she wants to bring her back. She wants Wanda to bring back Ralph.
Like, you can do anything, right, Wanda?
She wants Wanda to bring back Ralph. Fuck, man. If that turns out to be true,
maybe, and then to go even further, this is a long shot. Maybe the reason that there's no kids in Westview is because all the people there lost somebody, and maybe they all lost their kids.
Maybe. But I'm like, if all that turns out to be true, I'm like, I owe you some Thai food, because
I love Thai food too. How do you know that?
I don't even know, because that's my favorite. That's my favorite food. I love Thai food.
Eat some pineapple fries.
I'm gonna scroll through my DoorDash. I'm gonna scroll through my DoorDash app after this live is over in like the next 10 minutes or less, and be like, let me order some Thai food.
Pineapple fried rice.
I'm gonna get some green curry, green curry, brown rice, and some mango bubble tea.
Yeah, the tea is.
Let me stop talking about food, because now my stomach's starting to growl. But yeah, that fuck, like,
yeah, and that hit me because like she's like grieving, and like Monica was grieving too. Like, and we were talking before, like, how come other people can't go inside?
Yeah, and she referenced that because she's like, you're a telepath. Even though I'm like, I feel like they're kind of melding Jean Grey and Scarlet Witch a little bit. Because like Wanda's not a telepath.
She's not. She can't read your mind now.
But
she has telepathic powers if she's controlling people's minds, though. So.
But in this, they're saying she's a telepath.
Yeah.
So she's reading, because she's like, you're a telepath. You know I'm not here to hurt you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, they're definitely melding a little bit of Jean.
But not a telepath.
Maybe, but yeah. So she's like, so you knew I was a SHIELD agent. Like, they're confirming all. She's like, you knew I was a SHIELD agent, but you let me in. You trusted me enough to deliver your kids. On some level, you know I'm not a threat.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck. Like, now that makes sense to she let her in because she's grieving. She was grieving the death of her mother. Jimmy Woo's not grieving anybody, so he wasn't
exactly able to get in.
Fuck, man. Now I'm just like, now I want to know about who everybody's grieving.
Yeah.
I need to save this part of the clip. Once I upload this, because I'm just like, I don't even got nothing else to say. That's the end of this live, y'all.
Mic drop.
Yeah, I'm speechless. I'm speechless at this point. But yeah, I guess we will see.
Yeah.
What is this? This just Mephisto's creepy therapy session. I don't know. I think if Mephisto is involved, he's because I'm also trying to think.
Maybe he's feeding off the grief and everybody's wish to whatever, you know.
Yeah, maybe that could be it too. Maybe he's feeding on the grief.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also kind of think of I don't know if it was last week's episode or episode 4, where Vision was kind of like, well, we can always leave, and Wanda was just like, we can't.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if that was her saying we can't because then I'll lose you, or Wanda saying like literally we can't leave.
Exactly.
But then at the same time, she just left in this episode. But then I mean she went right back. So I don't know. But yeah, LaRon's Wells. What about the guy in the B suit? Was he grieving? Maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe Wanda let him in, and then jumping into what I was saying before, like my theory, which I could be wrong about, where I think the guy in the beekeeper suit is actually Evan Peters playing Pietro, because we never saw where he went.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe he is grieving somebody, and that's why she let him in.
That could be it.
And then also why maybe he lost his sister just like she lost her brother, and so that's why she has him playing the role of Pietro. Or I could be completely wrong, and that's actually the same character from the X-Men universe, and she just snatched him from his universe. But I don't know. I don't think it is. I don't know. Granted, sometimes the simplest answer is the right answer, but I don't think Marvel will give us that. Like I feel like it's too easy. I feel like it's too easy.
Plucking somebody else from a different universe is a big deal. Like, you know what I mean? That's beyond reality warping. You're right.
Yeah, I feel like that's too easy. Yeah, I feel like that's too easy. So maybe I definitely feel like he's the beekeeper.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe he's grieving somebody, and that's why he was able to be let in. So I don't know. I don't got nothing else. So yeah, I'm done. Somebody said the boys brought Pietro. I mean, maybe. I don't think they did. I think because based on what we've seen, the boys don't have any other ability aside from aging themselves up.
Yeah, they didn't try to bring the dog back to life themselves or anything.
Yeah,
that.
They didn't try to bring the dog, or they don't have the powers that they have in the because like Billy can warp reality just like his mother, but we haven't seen him do that. Or like Tommy, he has her brother's powers, but we haven't seen him zooming around.
Oh, I mean,
what you about to say?
I'm gonna say that.
No, what?
The spoilers.
Oh, you saw it? I thought you said you didn't see it.
I did see it. It was on Twitter. I saw it. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't see it. You just knew it was on Twitter. Oh, yeah. So the shit. Never mind. Anyway, well, I guess that'll be the end of this live because I don't want you saying nothing. Because I also saw my friend Jabari in here like, oh, I want to say something. I'm trying not to say nothing. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to know. I will find out on Friday. Or hopefully they release it early. Give me a Christmas gift. But yeah, I don't got nothing else to say about this episode except my mind is blown from this episode. Now my mind is even more blown about this whole grief theory.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, I think that might be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be true. But yeah, no, I don't think the brothers summoned him. I think Wanda subconsciously summoned him when the twins asked about her brother. And instead of saying he was dead, she said he's far away. And then when you get to when he showed up, he's like, I can't get my long lost. I'm gonna do this. Is gonna be a terrible jerk. My long lost sister from far away. I can't give her a hug. That was a terrible accent. But yeah,
who does it really good? Eddie Murphy and Raw. Look at this fucking mooly over here.
So I think him referencing his long lost sister when she created him was that reference to he's far away, and it makes me sad. So him being far away, I think that was it. But that's all I got. Like every episode, this show just keeps getting better and better, and keeps surprising me in ways that I just didn't expect. Because usually in some things you can kind of predict. And granted, for the most part, we kind of predicted where things have been going.
No, this is pretty good. Like I don't really know exactly where it's going. Usually I watch shows and like I'll go watch a movie and be like, oh, this is about to happen. Watch this now. I haven't been able to really do that with this. And
I mean, some of the things we kind of been predicting and it's kind of been going, but at the same time, and just the way they've been showing it, like it's fucking crazy. But I don't think says Pietro New Vision was there. I don't think he did. She just said, "Who's this?" Because they never. I mean, because technically they never met because he's not her Pietro. So he wouldn't know who she is or he is.
Again now. Like how fast did Pietro die? I know he didn't die until the final battle.
Yeah, he didn't die until the final battle. But he knew Vision. Yeah. So, but that's it. I don't got nothing else. That's the. I don't even I'm speechless at this point because I'm still marinating. I'm still marinating on that grief thing.
Yeah, I mean, watch it next week and maybe we're right, maybe we're wrong.
Yeah, maybe we're right, maybe we're wrong, but maybe we won't know next week because we still got 4 episodes left. There's a total of 9 episodes, but
more. I don't feel like it's ready to end yet. There's so much more they could do, but whatever.
But that's all I got. So before we end this live, Ron, once again, tell everybody where they can find you.
YouDon'tReadComics.com. You can find me on You Don't Read Comics on Instagram, Twitter.
I'm gonna need you to put a little bit more.
YouDon'tReadComics.com. You can find me there.
You gotta put your announcer voice on.
Yeah. We write new articles every week about comics reviews, show you what to pick up and stuff like that. Always making memes on Facebook, Instagram. Follow me.
Yep. And like I said earlier in the episode, the link to his website is in the description below. And you can just find me here, BlackGayComicGeek. Just type in BlackGayComicGeek. You'll find me. I mean, if you're already watching this live, you already know where I'm at. Yeah. But I'll be here. Join me again next week, guys, as we do another live discussion of WandaVision episode 6.
So you're sticking to the lives now.
just for WandaVision. I actually like the conversation with the chat and all the theories that people are throwing in. So I enjoy that. But for everything else, I'm not gonna do I'm still, pre-record and have my mess ups. And plus I also like having because for the most part,
you got somebody to bounce off of.
Yeah, I got somebody to bounce off of, not just the chat. And I like that as opposed to me just reviewing.
Yeah.
Because this is not even just a review. Because I don't even think because what's their review? No, I need to have a discussion. I need to talk about what the fuck just happened, as opposed to the cinematography was good and the act. No, fuck all that. Let's talk.
Yeah, facts though.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining me on this live episode. And you got anything to do? You stick around for because I have something to add. I want to know what you thought about X Factor.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you guys. I catch you guys next week for another live episode 6. I'm saying episode 6, but I'm like episode 6.
Is it
peace? Peace out.